Hey there, welcome to episode 149 of the Let's Innovate for Vegas audio program. I'm your host, Managing Director of the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, Dan Hugo. We are recording this at 8:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in the greater Vegas area on this Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, the final full week of 2025. It's a great time for today's title and topic, Retrospective 2025. A look back. I just added that. That's not part of the title. If you're not familiar with the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, or perhaps not familiar with this audio program, we are a Nevada nonprofit corporation, a 501c3 public charity. Our purpose is to enable and encourage ideation, innovation, and implementation to make our communities better. Those communities could be near or far, could be in the greater Vegas area or beyond. We are 100% volunteer, civic volunteer, in fact. That includes the governance, that's me, and any of our board of directors, members, anyone. We all do it for the good of all. And some possibilities down the road, the labs program. I've spent entire episodes talking about that, so we can leave that there. And the Let's Innovate for Vegas audio program is about our initiatives, our projects, our goals, the terrain on which we operate, and so on. Occasional interviews, I'd like to bring those back for 2026. Good times all the way around. Hopefully wherever you found this audio program, you're able to locate the episode description, which contains the show notes, including a brief summary of one sentence, which I'll read, and the two usual links. These are both our home pages. We'll get to that in a second. You can find these audio programs on Apple Podcasts, I guess, Apple iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, of course, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, and it's only podcasts at the moment, but we'll see if we can add possibly some video interactions now and then. And there's an RSS feed, of course, so you can find us anywhere else or subscribe directly to that RSS feed. You know how podcasts work by now. So let's get on with it, shall we, on this lovely Tuesday morning. Summary of today's episode. We have looked into the near term, in the future. We have wrapped up a few things, but how about a quick retrospective of the last calendar year? The links for today's episode, as usual, our .org and .foundation homepages. Innovate for Vegas, FOR. Innovate FOR Vegas, no spaces. InnovateForVegas.org is our activity website. It's our original website. It's hosted on GitHub. It points to our repositories, and, well, it's a work in progress, as is every website on the planet. You can find information about what we're working on and who's working on it. Right now, that number is very small. The Innovate for Vegas Foundation, Innovate FOR Vegas, same spelling, no spaces. Innovate for Vegas, Foundation, FOUNDATION, Foundation. That's where you'll find the business side. Remember, we're a Nevada nonprofit corporation. We have a few empty seats on the board. So board members will be listed there, other documents, other information about the business of civic volunteerism. Those are the only links for today, since we are looking back. If you were to go through the various other 149 episodes, remember there is an episode 0. Various episodes have various links and information and resources and so on. We are not going to be reviewing episodes. This is more happenings outside of this audio program. So, shall we begin with the good? If you're, you'll get it. The good. A couple of years in, we are in year 4, fiscal year 4, that is, of our incorporation. Realizing the flexible nature of civic volunteerism, or volunteering in general, and having that lead to the Agile for Volunteers initiative was a good thing. Not that this is easy, nor completely usable, and certainly nowhere near done. But this use of an agile base, not the new agile industrial complex, but the original first principles of agile methodology, this approach to describing initiatives and component projects and integrating with our available tools, platform to start, and then the way we work with civic volunteers and their time, effort, and expertise, and so on, has been an educational experience, though only the beginning of one. So the idea is to account for the fact that volunteers come and go. They're not on a 40-hour work week or some similar commitment. We have to be clear about how we are proceeding along with our various component projects of our various initiatives so that we might invite others to contribute from outside of our organization. This ideally will encourage collaboration across distances, and hopefully collaboration not only on our work, but in the work of others, so that we can leverage reusable components and elements. And not everything is code, so this could apply to just about anything if we collaborate. We have a few conversations in this general direction, and this kind of dovetails off of just what I just said. But the bottom-up Project ACT initiative has gotten a small amount of interest. Project ACT, the Autonomous Cohort Tessellation. It's a connection, it's a discovery initiative to enable and encourage connection, communication, and collaboration across projects and distances and across cohorts, of course. I myself remain optimistic about this effort as a path out of the civic volunteer winter, as I call it, and more generally as a way to connect more people to collaborate across formalities. That is, oh, you're not a member, oh, we have to do this, we have a meeting, we have different project structures, and so on. If we can move away from joining orgs across different organizational practices and structure and focus on contribution of volunteer time, effort, and expertise, ideally, we can extend the possibilities for smaller cohorts in the nearer term. Smaller cohorts of one or more. Some civic volunteer or civic tech organizations are focused on pre-existing organizations, former brigades from the Code for America days. They don't, from what I have seen so far, they don't offer the tools of collaboration. They only offer meetings. This is not a bad thing. It's just more top-down. We're looking more at infrastructure with this. And does it require Agile for volunteers? No, but they do sort of work together. That's the intent anyway. Ideally, we'll have collaboration on both from outside of our group, our cohort. So hopefully what we're working on here will benefit all civic volunteer, or generally speaking, all volunteer organizations, or even volunteer-oriented efforts. I would really like to see the Project ACT make an appearance in things like Hacktoberfest or similar. Our fiscal year ended on June 30th, which means the 1st of July, 2025 marked the beginning of our fourth. That's how math works. It was 3 years, and then the fourth one began. As I mentioned at the top of the show, gross receipts uncapped. This fourth year is. We filed a 1023 EZ, which capped our gross receipts at $50,000 per year. Now, we never came close to $50,000. That's not bad news. That's not ugly. It's fine. We didn't really need any money, but now we can pursue things that might exceed $50,000 per year without worrying about going over. So 3 years of formative contemplation. Year 4, we can actually pursue our donation-driving ideas to help get the word out and pursue some of our ideas that might not be completely free or extremely low cost. So in other words, if we need to pursue resources, consume resources perhaps, that might total more than the $50,000, or if we want to have larger events, or so generally speaking, if we accept more than $50,000 in donations in our first 3 years, that would have been uncomfortable just because of our status with the IRS and our 501c3 initial filings. But now we're all set to do some interesting things. It's like crossing the Darien Gap. We are on the other side, and it was an interesting trip. Now for the bad. There's always something bad. I mentioned the Civic Volunteer Winter. I have produced at least one recent episode about this. It would seem from my discussions and some minor reconnoiter that civic volunteerism, this is especially around civic tech, is not exploding in the world. Now, it hasn't disappeared. It hasn't fallen out of favor completely. I'm not speaking comprehensively either. Those cohorts that are experiencing high rates of participation and on a consistent basis, many congratulations. But I am seeing evidence of just a general slowdown. The winter coincides with the seasonal winter. If you've heard of the AI winter, it's when AI research slowed down for a while and then it picked back up. About 3 years ago, we've started to see some crazy developments. So you never know. The winter is a time perhaps of rest and again, contemplation. I'm not speaking comprehensively, so that's the take home. For those of us hanging out with the crickets lately, well, they are high in protein at least, so we have something to snack on. My own outreach to find interested and interesting people to fill some empty director seats on our board has been largely fruitless so far. I remain optimistic. This may coincide with that winter issue, but I have a feeling it is a combination of our local culture here in the Greater Vegas area, which is in flux, according to some, including me, and the need we do really have to show something, to attract attention, to reach some lean-in moment, perhaps. This is understandable to agree, but the culture of Vegas is very much leaning into the show me what you got attitude. So I kind of mix things up there. Essentially, the Vegas culture is not, hey, let me volunteer my time and see what happens. It's much more about what's in it for me. Is there free food, etc. That's just going by experience into our fourth year. Something of a challenge, but again, I remain optimistic. Our LinkedIn page has grown quite a bit in the last several months. In follower count, I think we've added like 100 people in the last 3 or 4 months. Okay. But has yielded zero additional engagement. That is, people don't actually interact with the content that's posted there, nor do they respond to outreach. That's a bigger problem. So zero additional engagement. Our presence on Blue Sky and Fostodon, that's a Mastodon server, free and open source software oriented. Very few followers and nearly zero engagement. So that's a tricky challenge also. The traditional low-hanging social network fruit may not be so useful for this stuff anymore. It is time to try something new, something innovative perhaps. See what I did there? Now, some civic tech organizations that have been around a while, especially those closer to the government, the 18F folks, for example, they get a little bit more interaction. This has been a tumultuous year in general along those lines. But for former brigades and so on, we're seeing some silent accounts, very little movement. This is, again, what I would call the winter of civic volunteerism. So slowing down, not going away, not yet. Although, for example, Hack for Reno, our counterparts in the Washoe County area in northwestern Nevada, appear to have gone completely silent. I don't believe they transitioned from a Code for America brigade to a standalone organization. I think they just sort of shut down is the word I guess I would use, the words. That's not great. I would like to see more civic volunteerism across the state and in general. It connects people to what's going on around them. And now the ugly. We did the good, we did the bad, now the ugly. I have not gone into too much detail, nor will I really, regarding the 2 empty seats. We used to have 3 directors on our board, myself and 2 others. So we have 2 empty seats. That's the way it is. This was disappointing. It was a disappointing point in our timeline. It was prior to the end of our fiscal year, very close, which means I had to file our annual list without a minimally complete board of directors, which I'm not pleased with. Ultimately, though, better for our organization. If people do not want to participate nor to be a part of what we are aiming to accomplish, they should move on to other things, and those 2 board members did. This is generally true and most definitely true of volunteer organizations, where the people who do want to be a part of the effort should not be asked, nor required, of course, to spend time on those who do not. So, good riddance, I say. But we still have 2 empty seats, and I would like our board to grow by 2 more, to be honest. But this is a real challenge to find 1, much less 2, much less 4 civic volunteer-minded people who would like to volunteer their time to be on our board of directors. The search continues. But it was unfortunate the way things unfolded, therefore ugly, not bad. Our LinkedIn engagement is low, as I mentioned, but our response rate on direct outreach, so not through LinkedIn directly, not through LinkedIn direct messages, but direct email outreach, for example, direct person to person within the greater Vegas area is essentially 0. We just don't hear back. This is with regard to our Talks.Vegas initiative, for example, the Smarter City Hackathon for 2026, and for participation in general. Anytime we reach out to anyone, we get silence, those crickets, which are delicious. Whether the topic is director participation to join our board or initiative participation or anything else, really. The workaround is, as I have mentioned in previous episodes, to pursue our initiative efforts with a skeleton crew of one or more people. You are listening to the one. We'll see if there's another one or two out there who are interested in actually coming through on their stated interests, whether they're local, proximal, or distal, and make things happen regardless. It will take longer, but we have time. And then what I describe as go around. People who are getting in the way or not responsive, go around them until they come to us. Oh, now I understand what a Smarter City Hackathon is, for example. That's my prediction. I would lay my $1 token on that square and see what happens. We do have time. We don't have ship dates. We're not committed to our shareholders or anything. It's purely a commitment to our civic volunteer cohort, which is right now home enjoying the civic volunteer winter. I usually follow the rule of 3 when it comes to outlining my predictions or my productions. Productions, I predict. So the third ugly item is going to have to be that I could not think of a third ugly item. That could be worse. I may have had to limit it to 3. So yeah, things are generally not bad. I'm sorry, they're not ugly. They could be better. The ugly items are annoying, but I attribute some of this just to the general winter. It could be Vegas only, but I don't believe it is. The people I've talked to, the resources I've examined, the activity I've observed, or the lack of activity that I've observed, suggests to me that things are just slow. These are interesting times for a variety of reasons in a variety of places. So I think that has slowed things down. One last one for 2025. Our final episode for this year will be December 30th. So this is not the last one, that is. But this is the final full week. All right, are we clear? Then we'll start to get something ready ahead of time for CES week, which is January 5 through 9. So the first full week of January will be 4 days of it will be CES laden. It is possible to record a show each morning and then head down to the convention center. So that's not really a problem. It's not a big issue, but something to think about. More on that in episode 150. So that'll be on 30th of December. Hopefully you're listening to this before, but maybe after. Both are fine. My to-do list is not even funny anymore, and I am not a graphic artist by any means, but I think I've finally developed a strategy for some component project icons. This would be a reference to the Agile for Volunteers sort of general overview in organization. It breaks top-level initiatives into component projects. The component projects focus on things like user experience or user interface, more likely user interface. Co-creation planning, back-end, like business logic, front-end, user interface, implementation, not the user interface design, database design, etc. So there are different components. Not all of them are software. I just named some software. Component projects could include documentation, with localization, could include mechanical designs, could include marketing messages, like how to tell people about what we're working on, websites. The list is long. There's I think 24 maybe different types of component projects subject to grow. So the icons will go with the repository open graph images that I'm working on. Now I just have to make a bunch of them. I have to be honest. I tried making one with Google Gemini or Nano Banana or whatever, which just convinces me once again that AI is a tool in the toolbox. It is not the answer to every question, far from it. So hopefully I can do it manually. And then there is just the regular old getting on with our initiatives, maybe reaching out now and then to more people, but the strategy is really to work first, have office hours and other engagements second. Our office hours moved to every other week until after CES. Do we return to every week? Maybe. Our initiative meetups, which were on Mondays, are on hiatus because it was only one person showing up. Those really need to move to a either an invite or an RSVP scheme as opposed to office hours, which are much more oriented towards just people showing up whenever, which hopefully gives people a sense that they are free to come by, ask a question without committing to an actual meeting. So it's much more loosely structured. There's no new thing there in the notion of office hours. Those have been done, and they are done by a lot of people all over, especially with the advent of easy online video calling and so on. So we use open source software called Jitsi, for example, and anyone can come by on Tuesdays when we have our meetings. The calendar for those is published on both of our homepages. It's our gatherings calendar. So whenever we have office hours or meetups like that, those appear on those calendars. Pretty neat. So it's a new year, new ways. Let's see what we can make happen for 2026. And I'm particularly interested in getting our smarter City Hackathon up and running. So we'll see how that unfolds. As with everything else, we don't really have a timeline or a schedule or a commitment yet. So we can play everything by ear and see what happens. And if we can drive some donations that will fund some of our efforts as needed. We try to keep our costs very lean. So far they have been. And we'll see what happens. So yeah, there you go. And if we don't talk to you before the new year, Happy New Year. Hopefully you'll catch up on these end of year episodes. And perhaps you'll come by an office hours meetup on a Tuesday evening, Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time here in the Greater Vegas area online. Or people can always schedule an alternate if they want to have a particular meeting about a particular topic. The main idea behind the office hours is to talk about other people forming similar organizations, cohorts, civic volunteer groups, but also what we're up to, how we function, if they're considering maybe they might want to join our board or participate in some way. It's generally a non-technical conversation. So we'll see if we can drum up some interest in that into 2026. In the meantime, again, Happy New Year. Thank you for your support in any number of ways, including listening to these audio programs and keeping up with what we are trying to accomplish. Take care now. Bye-bye.